Guy, I know you've been kind of looking at AI. What are your general thoughts around it, and maybe how does it apply to Bitcoin?
Yeah, so AI is a really interesting kind of play or factor that has been introduced into this environment. Now, probably if we look like 10 years out, I think we could potentially see some huge productivity shift, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of it in the short run.
Mhm.
Right now, we're still trying to figure out what to do with these tools. So this is actually what I started AI Unchained, the new podcast, for. Is the real focus was actually to uh I I think there's a huge concern in recreating our same bad habits of centralizing and platform based services with AI, is the surveillance problem and the control of individuals. The this in encompassing sort of top down control that we've seen becomes an order of magnitude more dangerous and worse consequences if we're all just plugged into somebody's centralized AI. Not only do they have visibility into everything we're doing on a computer, if, when Windows releases their AI embedded into the operating system, but they have contextual understanding of everything that we're doing on our computer. And if you're not local hosting, like if you're not doing the computation locally, that's a nightmare scenario. But right now, a lot of it is still hype. And a lot of it, there's a massive amount of noise. It very much feels like crypto 2017. But one of the big things that I think is, but luckily, is open source is moving very, very fast. One of the beautiful things about the natural elements of AI is that it's about who can teach quickest. As soon as the algorithm is released or the model exists, then the question is, can a community teach faster than a giant corporate entity? And they're developing in very different ways as well. But I do not think there will be this like network lock-in, like moat thing that we have seen with platforms, because the technology manifestly doesn't behave like that. It's not the same thing. So that's actually a really positive thing. But I think we will see this kind of like double Moore's law happening, where not only does while our technology is getting smaller and lower cost, AI is also getting the hardware that it is able to run on is decreasing massively. Like just a year ago, people would have said that there's no way that you can have a local large language model. Like, it's just not going to happen. You need 10,000 GPUs. That's the only way to ever get a good answer. And now you can roll literally within a matter of weeks. The open source community, when Meta's model launched, leaked, it's called Llama. Within a matter of weeks, they figured out how to run the thing on a freaking Raspberry Pi. Like, I'm not even kidding you. The 7 billion parameter model is slow, and you would never ever want to use it because you're constantly writing to hard drive instead of RAM, but you can run it. And I have run one locally that basically the user response to it is that it was 48.7% valued or preferred to 51.3% to Chat GPT. That is not a big gap. And we're talking about running locally on basically a high-end consumer device. And I think that's going to continue to change and evolve, where I think this applies to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a bunch of builders. Like that's the really magical thing about this space, is that everybody is constantly trying to figure out how they can contribute. But there's also a lot of very computer literate, like very literate people from a technical aspect that aren't developers. I include myself in that group. I'm not a developer. I have been doing nothing but building scripts for months to accomplish little tasks using ChatGPT. The ability to make small batches of code that work by just asking it to do stuff is remarkable. I've brought this up on a few different episodes recently, was like I've now got a script. I used to lose a day every month. Like when I'm working with tons of media, I mean, Sam, you probably know, but I work with tons of media, and I have, you know, uncompressed audio, like project files constantly, and I'm doing 10 different things at once. I eat up 400 gigs of data like nothing, you know, 30 days in, and I'm out of hard drive space again on a 2 terabyte computer. And then I lose a day transferring, compressing, organizing, archiving, like just doing all that stuff. I'll just be in the middle of a logic project, and it'll just be like, you're running out of memory. We can't record this anymore. You got to do something. And I just have to stop and spend a couple hours. I spent about 40 minutes the other day writing a script with ChatGPT that whenever I just select the folder with my projects in it, and it will grab all of the relevant project files. It will individually compress everything in the folder, one project at a time. Then it will move the zip file to my Linux machine. Then it will verify individually each one that the uncompressed, the original project and the zip file are in fact accurate, and it's on the new computer. Then it will delete the original project file and just do that through the entire folder. So now when I'm running out of space, I've just been doing this every few days. And with AI Unchained being a video thing, you know, I've got like 13 gigs per project with the video and stuff. So I do it. I just double click on this thing every day. And it archives the whole thing. And I archived like, I don't know, 600 gigs of stuff the other day while I was working on stuff. So I was recording while, and it was funny because it's, you know, it's just running live like in my terminal. So I'm hearing the little trash can like every 2 minutes or whatever, when it's done zipping and moving the next project or whatever. And so I'm just like recording, and I'm just hearing this for like an hour and a half or 2 hours while it's just cleaning up my computer. And I literally have like, just in the ones of the stuff that I'm using, I got like 8, 9, 10, like 15 or so of stuff that I use all the time, like media compression and all this stuff that used to take me a long time now is just basically a double click. And as Bitcoiners realize how powerful these tools are, I think especially if we adopt them first, I think we can build so many features and simplify so many things and obscure away so many of the little headaches and the little bumps in the road that people run into. Like this makes me quote unquote a developer, and I don't code. I know just enough to be able to kind of look at a block of code and be like, okay, it's trying to do this. And I know some simple tricks on how to easily troubleshoot it, but I'm able to build stuff that I never would have had the time or the energy to build before. And that's a big deal, I think. And I think more specifically is a really big deal for Bitcoin.